pick anything up on the Steam Summer Sale recently?
Not yet. I was like, rent just came through, so once I actually have a bit more money at the time, I'll get it some here in a little bit.
Yeah.
It's how it'd be. I'm also just engrossed by Borderlands at the time at the moment, so I'm just like, yeah.
Nice.
So, it's probably why is if you're watching the YouTube, I was like, I am recording this on the thing, so it's like just to have something up in the background. So just try something. I never really liked always having a game up, not because it was like it can just be a little distracting and hard to keep a conversation going at times. So, but I was like, this is brain dead enough that I could probably do it, and let's just give it a try, right?
I mean, we could always have like pre-recorded gameplay or something like that.
Yeah,
too.
that too as well. But I was like, I'm just kind of grinding out a grenade mod here, so I was like, this is pretty simple for the most part. But yeah. So, with that being said, hello and welcome to another episode of It Never Ends. I'm Andrew. Over there is my good buddy Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How you doing, brother?
I be doing, and I'm very tired because it's been not as hot as it's been the past couple days. But when you're sitting in the heat most of the day at work, you're just like, wow, that really wears on you.
It has been freaking scorching out, but it is just so nice out too that I can't not go outside.
Yeah.
It helps that my apartment complex just opened the pool again for the season, so. I get what you mean.
I never really went to the pool when I lived at a place that had a pool.
Does your current place not have a pool?
No, it doesn't.
That's weird.
It's really that, I should probably... Oh my god, I think I got the thing. I've been trying to get that grenade mod for so long. It's not quite right, but it's just like, oh my god, and it's real close. It's real close. Yeah, it's just like, it's a small town, so it's like I'm not really expecting anything like pool or anything like that. Although there is that little field over here that they're, I think, planning on building something in there. So who knows if it's like a gym or pool or whatever. Who knows? Or maybe even just another building for apartments. Anything's possible. Any which way. So, a few things we need to talk about today. One that you brought up before, which I actually think we should probably start with, which is the initiative to stop killing games, which is a European nation like initiative basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a European initiative to kind of like stop companies from being able to basically just shut down games, right?
So what it is in a lot of the terms of agreement for a lot of these games and the companies is there's a clause that says they can take your game away from you at any time for any reason or just for no reason. And there is a law in the UK that specifies that if a certain part of a contract is like super like unfair or like anti-consumer, then it doesn't fly, which would apply to these contracts. So in reality, a lot of these should just be null and void because that is purely anti-consumer. Something you paid for is just being taken away from you. So this movement, Stop Killing Games, is to basically get these companies to, better preserve their games.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting one. I heard it earlier this week, and so I was just like, "Oh, that's kind of, that's nice," or whatever. I'd be curious to see if we'd ever see something like that in the United States. Probably not, but
I'm guessing if it passes in the UK, it's just going to apply everywhere. That's
it will definitely change.
Okay?
It will definitely change companies how they will operate because they'll have to take the European nation into account.
Mm-hmm.
So, in general, yes, it will change how the companies will end up doing business. Yeah, I thought it was like, it's great. So, I was like, I feel like a lot of people are just not on board with it or really have heard much of it, so I just wanted to bring it up here.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, I do also want to specify that no doesn't mean the companies need to keep supporting these games.
No,
forever.
But they need to leave it up.
Yeah, effectively.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah, no, that's a good clause to throw in there because it's like, yeah, well, it doesn't mean they need to keep updating. Doesn't also means that they shouldn't just get rid of them.
It's mainly for like game preservation purposes, where a lot games just can't disappear out of the ether forever, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's because I was like, I know that's what what was it? Destiny 1 had like just like certain parts of the game just taken out entirely.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, that's not great. I guess
Destiny 1 and I think Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny 2. Was it Destiny 2? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Destiny 2 because I think it was a lot of the content Forsaken got taken out. I think it was the big one for Destiny 2.
Yeah, that sounds right. Does sound right. Because it basically just means like, if like they decide to all of a sudden just one day stop, they need to keep up servers for anyone that will want to play. I wonder if there'll be like a way to, if like there is just nobody playing the game, could they just take it offline and then just have like an offline mode implemented later on?
I mean, even if it's just like offline against bots, I think that'd at least be something.
Yeah, I guess the
game would still technically be playable.
Yeah, you'd still be able to play it then. Yeah, that way you don't need to just keep up servers at that point for like nobody playing too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems like a probably a good stopping or a good point there.
I mean, it would take some level of effort on the developers' parts, but that is... I don't think a lot of people...
Currently what's going on.
I think a lot of people don't really appreciate just how easy it is to do something like that.
Yeah.
Putting just like basic bots in a game mode or like a multiplayer game is nothing. It is really, really easy.
Yeah.
Especially for a company like as big as Activision or some of them. Or a game like Destiny that already has like pretty good AI in the game.
Yeah. Something to think about. Something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That I was like, oh, it's pretty neat. So it's still needing a bunch of signatures still to kind of move forward, I think. Isn't that what's going on right now?
Yeah, I think it's really quickly closing in their goal of over 1 million signatures, though.
Yeah, I think...
Because I think this past week, didn't it get more than like 200,000 new people signing up for it?
Yeah, I was like, I think I just saw it had like 75K. So, they're getting there.
Mm-hmm. If anybody has any questions about Stop Killing Games, they have their own website. They have a full like history of all the things that they've been doing. A full FAQ page.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is just like it is only for like people who live in the Europe or whatever. Like that's all it applies to. So if you're like, for like us, it's not like, the United States can hop in on this. Like, no, you do have to be a part of the European nation to do that. But the idea is that if this gains traction, that it could expand to other places as well. So this isn't just like, oh, it just kind of like won't exist or whatever for like U.S. or other places. But yeah, a lot's also been going on this week when it comes to the sports. I was like, we're closing in on the I guess we're past the midway year for baseball, but the All-Star game's coming up soon, and a lot of people, including myself, are calling out the MLB for their popular vote when it comes to deciding All-Stars, because as you can probably anticipate, that most of the All-Stars are just Dodgers and Yankees, and it's like, I'm not saying that some of the Dodgers, like Will Smith, obviously probably is probably the best catcher in baseball, or at least in the National League. So he deserves that nod. But if in reality it's like you're telling me that Max Muncy is the best third baseman, I'm like, no, it's just not true. Eugenio Suarez for the Diamondbacks has been way better this year, but because he plays for the Diamondbacks, he doesn't get as much love as the Dodgers do. But the case that's more of just like a what the fuck moment is with the outfielder James Wood for the Nationals, and he is by far the best outfielder in the National League, and yet he will be missing out on the postseason he probably will be missing out on the postseason entirely because the Nationals kind of stink. But it's like he'll be missing out on the All-Stars despite having one of the highest OPSs in all of baseball at 923 for when it comes to the National League. Way better than any of the other three outfielders or whatever. It's like with Picro Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, and I think Andy Pages, which is also a Dodger. I'm like, he should at least be a reserve, in my opinion.
I mean, absolutely, but this is just another issue of the kind of thing that we see in baseball, in basketball, right? Where it's like, the Dodgers and the Yankees, they're the more popular teams. They're the ones that people, look to at the most. Because I think, Yankees was the Babe Ruth team, right?
Yeah, Yankees is, and they're also AL, so that's, I'm mostly talking about National League teams right now.
It's like the same thing in basketball with, the Lakers, right?
Sort of. It's like the thing is with basketball, it's like while it is still popular vote, it's like the good players will oftentimes will get in. With baseball, it's like it's just like, to me, basketball is so much just like, are you good? Whether you're good or whatever. In baseball, there are guys that are good at every position. It's just that when it comes to it, it's just like being decided by a popular vote is just the dumbest thing when it's supposed to be subjective to whether or not whether or not you've been good this season. If you've been good this season, you should make the All-Star game. That's just how it should be.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So, basketball can get it wrong. Obviously, every sport can get it wrong, but basketball isn't all popular vote. Baseball just decided, oh yeah, we're going to do it all.
Is baseball popular vote? Baseball
is doing all popular vote, which is why we're having this discussion right now.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's dumb. In my opinion, it's dumb because it shouldn't be. In reality, it's like if there was an honorary spot or two, they already do what it's called the honorary spot. It's basically for players that were once really good, basically maybe aren't as good as they used to be, but are still probably a Hall of Famers, probably going to be some of the best the game's ever seen type thing. They oftentimes will get the honorary nod. They started adding that a few years ago, I think, when Albert Pujols, when he was trying for his hitting 700 career home runs. So it's it's not like we haven't seen this before. It's just that now it's being done at every position. And I think that that's just wrong because you miss out on great players. And the whole point of the All-Star game is as a representation of the league in general. Last year, and maybe even the year before that, MLB tried to get a player from every team to be in the All-Star game. And I think that even some of the worst teams, still had a player represented in that All-Star game, and it was fun. It was interesting. It was at least you would see players you would never really see before, and it's like I said, James Woods. I'm he was a rookie last year, and now he's having a breakout year right now. By far one of the best for the Nationals in their short history. It's they were the Montreal Expos, but now they are the Nationals, Washington Nationals. So, but it's I don't know. It's just when the whole point is to show a bunch of players that are having great seasons, and then we're all of a sudden it's just the Dodgers, and you go like, well, that's not fun to watch at all. And the thing is because it's the Dodgers, they'll still get watched, and MLB just won't care, and that's what really annoys me the most. It's why even though Mookie or Shohei Ohtani's probably he's probably still probably will be very deserving of an MVP. It's like there will be years where he probably won't be deserving of an MVP and will probably still get votes, if not win it, when absolutely somebody else should win it or something like that. Luckily, MVP is not decided by popular vote. That is decided by like a board of like, I don't remember exactly what exactly it is, but
just a board.
It's just
like baseball super fans, basically.
That's not so much super fans. Just like what's the best way to describe it? Professionals, basically, like people that are like have played baseball, been like some of the greatest, and then just like just not playing anymore. They're just retired. I think that's what I'm trying to say here.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, I don't mind that too much. I think that's probably a good system for it. It's the same board I think that does Hall of Fame votes as well. So yeah. It's like that's my 2 cents about the way the All-Star voting is done. I think it's just stupid and needs to be dumb. It needs to be done better. It's like have a couple honorary spots. I think that's fine. If people want to vote in for whoever the popular player is at the time, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, even though I will probably disagree with it. But there are some players that I think should get a nod that aren't getting a nod because they just play on small market teams.
I mean, that's the problem with it being a popularity contest is ultimately what it boils down to.
Yep. That's exactly what it boils down to, and that's just the point of it. It's going to come to the point, I think, that eventually MLB is going to have the problem that the NBA is having right now with the All-Star break is just fucking dog shit. Last year's NBA, I mean, I feel like last season for the NBA was pretty dog shit, if you ask me. It's like it wasn't interesting whatsoever. But
the NBA right now in general is just a complete mess.
Yeah.
And it's been like that since last year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I never felt the need to like watch any games, despite I wanted to watch the Bucks, but every time I tried to, I was just like, I'm just bored. I just didn't want to watch it. So, but it's like, yeah, it's gonna come down to that. Like the home run derby, it's like Ellie De La Cruz isn't even like, oh, there's another player that's not getting the All-Star nod that absolutely should be is Ellie De La Cruz. But yeah, he's not even gonna be participating in the All-Star or in the home run derby because he doesn't see the fucking point to doing so, and I would agree.
Makes sense to me.
So it's just like, and when it's known to her, it's just like fucks up your swing and everything like that. Like that's been a thing in the past that some people who oftentimes participate in it just lose their swing entirely, and it's just like, yeah, that's why some people just don't participate in it because they would rather have the time resting rather than just trying to hit home run after home run. So I don't know, I always found that interesting.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's like the home run derby might become really annoying and not great, which is going to be really upsetting if that's the case. Because that's one of the more fun things. Hell, I think even
derby is a lot of fun. From a player perspective, I don't really see the benefit, though.
Yeah, it's just more for it's a fun thing. It's like for showmanship or whatever. But it's like, it's the same thing with like the dunk contest. It's like, it's supposed to be fun, but like no player wants to like hurt themselves trying to do like crazy dunks, trying to win votes for bullshit that doesn't matter. That's why they brought in like the same guy to do the home run derby, freaking dunk contest basically for the past like 5 years. He doesn't even play in the NBA. That's the thing. That's the thing about it is the guy that they basically brought in to do that doesn't even play in the NBA. He was a what is it, G League player basically that was just like asked to do it during the COVID year, and just like, oh my god, it's a white dude that can jump. I'm not even joking about that. It was a white dude that can jump, and then everyone was just like, yeah, and I'm like, okay. I don't know. It was silly. And so they brought him in like for the past like 4 years, and it's just like, okay, cool. This guy's back again doing some bullshit we don't care about.
I mean, good for him though, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole reason why the guy still like got a job and everything like that, and why the NBA will still call him back. But it's like, yeah, it's like I guess now they have the skills competition where they have like they compete in teams of 3 now for like passing and sorting, and like the 3-point shot, like a 3-point contest is kind of fun. But it's whatever. I couldn't imagine like NBA or MLB having like a skills competition. Like, what would that even look like? I have no idea. Like, I guess like, oh, I mean, I feel like the combine, like older players wouldn't take a part of it. It's like at least recently, like this year in the past couple of years, they've been doing what's called the Future Games, or I think it's just called the Future Game, where it's like they take the MLB top 100 prospects and then just kind of put them on a team each, and then just have them play against one another. And it's like, that's fun. It's like seeing young kids, like, you know, top prospects, like playing off and just like being able to actually see them, because watching minor league baseball is hella tough unless you really want to look. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to watch like minor league baseball. It's tough.
Not once ever.
Yeah, I was like, I can't imagine you've really tried to look, but it's like, yeah, I've tried to watch a few games or whatever here or there.
In terms of like minor leagues, I think the closest I've come is like college football. I'm not the biggest Bucks fan in the world. My brother is, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like well, have you ever been to like I mean, it's technically not the minors, but it's like, you've been to like a Mallards game before?
Yeah, I've been to a Mallards game before.
See, those are all guys that are like college or like, you know, coming out of high school, like trying to up their draft stock, basically, just playing by a little extra ball during the summer. That's pretty much all that is.
Okay.
So it's like if you watch that, it's like, while they're not top prospects or anything like that, they're just trying to, you know, show off a little bit more skills and whatever. So it's like, I guess that would be like the next equivalent I can think of that probably you would have maybe gone and seen or something like that. For anyone that's not in Wisconsin or, you know, in it or whatever, the Madison Mallards are they're a Northwoods League team basically, and the Northwoods League is basically just like minor league, but not really affiliated with any, you know, team in particular. But some great MLB stars have played in the Northwoods League before. I think the top one is Pete Alonso with the Mets. He's the first baseman for the Mets. So he played, I think, for the Mallards. But there's been a couple other players that have played for them in the past. I think Bryce Harper did. I think there's like one or two other players that I know are big names that I can't think of at the moment. Those games are always fun to go to, though. One day I want to go to Savannah Bananas game, but it's like the tickets are expensive, and they also sell out all the time.
The Savannah Bananas.
Do you know what the Savannah Bananas are?
No, never heard of them.
Think of the Harlem Globetrotters, but for baseball. Because they just do wacky, weird, fun stuff in the context of baseball.
I mean, for a team named the Savannah Bananas, I'm not too surprised.
They will dance basically while they're on the mound and stuff like that type thing, and then there was one guy that took at bats in stilts. They have celebrities oftentimes on there. This is a year, maybe over a year ago at this point. But they had John Cena in the game do a celebrity at bat or whatever, where he tried to he struck out or whatever, and then he tried to wrestle the umpire, and I was just like, oh, that was kind of funny. But my favorite part is when the umpires are also in on the bit too. They're fully into the bit as well. So there was I think there was a clip. There's a famous clip that after a guy struck out, the umpire twerked just right in the middle of it, and right in the middle of the game and everything like that. It's hilarious, and it was just all right. And they just do wacky, weird, fun stuff, and it's great. That's why I call them the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
I'm surprised I've never heard of them before.
Yeah. They're very silly, though. It's I'd love to go to one of those games before, but they're mainly, obviously, Savannah, so Georgia. But they play games across, the entire nation. I don't think there's ever been anywhere close to Wisconsin, though, I'm pretty sure, from where they played.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Still, it's sad.
It's fun, though. I like how also with that, if to, keep the game flowing. So you know how sometimes, at-bats will continue on with guys just, fouling off pitches or whatever? Mm-hmm. So if a ball is fouled off and is caught in the stands by a fan, the player is out.
Okay.
So there was one game that ended on a foul out caught by a fan in the front row on just off to the side or whatever. So they had the fan come out onto the field and run around because that was the game saving out. And then the Bananas won because of that, and it was really funny.
What the fuck? That's awesome.
Yeah. I was like, damn, that must have been a really fun time for that fan.
They just tell him to come down and start running around and dancing and shit.
Yeah, pretty much. They just had him run out into onto the pitcher's mound basically and just celebrate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I oftentimes said to myself, I was like, man, could you imagine Major League Baseball implementing a rule like that? Because I couldn't.
No, never.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
That's basically why it's fucking the Mario baseball of real baseball.
Yeah.
Where it's just anything goes type shit.
It all goes.
So, with Borderlands 4 coming out, did you want to talk about some of the stuff that you're excited about it?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess I've sort of talked a little bit about it because as they've kind of revealed some stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I like how they're doing this they're doing an open world Borderlands game.
Go figure, but
yeah.
I've heard that for Borderlands 4, the entire world is going to be seamless. There are going to be no loading screens between different areas.
Yeah, that's what they've said. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. There'll be side missions and they said little vaults that you can fight vault monsters in, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I was just I feel like we all wanted that after. It just feels like that from going from Borderlands 3 or even Tiny Tina's Wonderland to 4 is going to be an interesting jump because it actually feels like, for once, that Gearbox got like a good amount of budget to really make the game, and they're just going buck wild with it, and I love it. Because the Vault Hunters seem interesting, just from the skill trees I've seen so far. The world in itself, like this, seems pretty interesting as well. Just being open world. The Vault Hunters like skills seem interesting as hell. Like, and there's a bunch of different builds that you can do along with it. From what I've seen, they've only shown off the two Vault Hunters of Vex and Rafa so far, and they're both nutty. Because Vex is just like, oh, I'm gonna kill stuff, and then I'm gonna trigger all my kill skills, which will then trigger everything that makes me good. And it's like, wow, that's really interesting. But I think the thing that I'm most excited about with Borderlands 4 is the how the loot's going to work in this game, because guns now will they'll drop with parts from every different manufacturer in the game, which I'm pretty sure there's pretty much every manufacturer that we've ever had, including two new ones which are new to this game. We'll be into, and we'll ultimately make builds entirely different, basically.
Because you can like upgrade your weapons and stuff, right?
So when I mean by like it's just like different parts, because each manufacturer's parts have like a certain characteristic to them. Mm-hmm. So like
so you can like add like mods and stuff to all your weapons and stuff.
No, they just roll with his parts. Like when the loot spawns, when you pick up a gun, it will just roll with, depending on what just like what type of manufacturers it has or whatever. So like if say you have like a Torg barrel or whatever, it might make like the guns, like it might make the bullets like more explosive, or it might be like magazine or whatever. But like it's like you could have like a Jacob's barrel or whatever, which would cause bullets to ricochet, which is nutty. So it's like, and then it's just like Malawan, you could have like the Malawan loader or whatever type thing, which means that you could have it in one of two elements that you can swap between. So you could have like one shock and one fire or something like that. And it basically will means that every gun you ever pick up will almost always be unique to you. And it will make for unique builds where it's not just like, oh, you want this legendary gun type thing, like you kind of like you do in Borderlands 3 or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh, you're trying to look for an MChem Herald, let's say, just because I'm using an MChem Herald. And so it's like, no, well, you'll also want it with like these parts as well. So it's like, well, or if you have like certain other augmentations, because they're replacing the artifact with this with augmentations, which are basically just like, if you have these manufacturers on your weapons or whatever, you gain extra bonuses. So it's like every build will feel unique, and while it'll probably be harder than ever to get a like god roll on a weapon you're looking for, you might just stumble into something that's even more broken, which is pretty nutty. I also like it because purple guns will actually feel decent again. Because in Borderlands 3, I mean, I'm looking. If you're watching the video, you can see like most of my, if not all of my inventory is all legendaries, and it's like, well, I don't dislike that. It just means that the variety is not
a lot
great.
Better now.
Well, it just like makes it like, oh, I guess like, the gun is useless unless it's legendary, and it's like that doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
Just means like 90% of the loot you ever get is going to just be like, you never want to use it.
I mean, that's most Borderlands games, to be fair.
Well, at least like with Borderlands 2, like they had uniques that you get for like mission rewards that were fun, and like some could be like extremely powerful. With Borderlands 3, it's just like there was like 2 good uniques. And I'm just like, man, that stinks. But so far it looks great though. I'm excited for it.
Nice. So I could have sworn that there are upgrade paths to upgrade like your favorite weapons now, or am I just totally off base with that? I could have sworn I heard something about that.
I mean, there's like augmentations. I think is probably what you're thinking of, or whatever. They're like. So in the game, like you'd have like what's called artifacts, basically, that would help your builds, so on and so forth. But they're really not very powerful in this game. So I think with the whole point of changing, there's no longer artifacts. There's now augmentations that you can put on your thing, which is just like, oh, if you have like 3 guns with Malawan manufacturers on them, and then it's like, oh, gain this bonus, basically.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, and we don't know how those legendaries will work. So all I know is that like purples spawn with 4 different manufacturers, or 4 types of manufacturers, basically. It has to be all different, but I think most times probably going to be different. And then like legendaries will have a what they say is a unique trait, which we assume is just probably the legendary aspect. But I don't really know about that yet. And then like blues will spawn with 3 or whatever. But it's like
nice.
So it's good. I think that's probably my game I'm looking forward to the most for this year.
One is God, please let it actually come out. If Hollow Knight Silksong actually
of the games
released.
that actually have a confirmed release date.
There we go.
It's like, yes, if Silksong is coming out this year, then it will obviously be up there. But it's like we don't know necessarily that one's going to be out yet. We damn well hope so, but we don't know that for sure. Would you say that Silksong is like your most anticipated game for this year, assuming it's coming out?
I mean, I think that's to everyone in our friend group, personally. For games that have a confirmed release date, it's probably, for me at least, Outer Worlds 2.
That's true. When does that one come out?
I love the first game. I do not know. Let me quick.
I thought it was like October for some reason in my mind. It was like, I have October in my head, but I don't know if that's right.
You are right. It's October 24th.
Shit, that's 3 days after my birthday.
Nice. Should drop $80, get it for you as a birthday present.
Nah, I haven't even played the first one.
I don't really think you need to. I'm sad because I actually grew attached to the... Something that I loved about the Outer Worlds is that the companions that you ran into were really, really well written, and you formed a pretty good bond with them. And now this is just something completely new, playing as a new person with a new goal. And it really hasn't confirmed if any of those characters are going to be making at least a cameo.
Oh, really?
What I do know, yeah. What I do know is that the way that they're doing maps is way different, and they're actually making improvements to different character interactions, and especially to gameplay. So it's basically going to be the first game, from what I can tell, but better in every conceivable way.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right?
Mm-hmm. I do want to say I find it kind of comical how Borderlands had that whole like controversy for a while being about like Randy and $80 games, and it turns out it was just going to be $70 anyway.
Yeah,
so he just said nothing.
I mean, part of me believes that like that because of Randy's freaking words that it turned off people to actually like. I was like, well, now we can't make this $80 because it's just like because Randy over here had to ruin it.
You think so?
No, probably not. But
okay,
it'd be funny to think about that though. It's Randy. No, my guess is that they were probably thinking of like what could we actually, and I think there was in theory there was just enough. I don't know if backlash is the right word for it, but there was enough people like saying like maybe could we not potentially? And then I think they kind of took that into consideration. But I'm sure Randy didn't help it.
In terms of like consumer backlash, like releasing a game for $80 right now is just a death sentence. A lot of to the point where it's like, yeah, Nintendo is charging that for Mario Kart Worlds, but they made it clear that they're not going to do that for every game. It's like they're not doing that for Bonanza. Why the hell Microsoft is doing it for all their releases? It's like, I'm excited for the Outer Worlds too. It is not worth $80 though.
Well, that's what the Game Pass is for.
I guess so.
Yeah. Just going back to our discussion of stop killing games, be okay with not owning shit. That's the perfect summary of it. It's like we don't want people like buying games anymore. Let's just offer Game Pass, and then they'll just be forced to then. So. Can't take away people's rights for a game if they never had them in the first place. It's true.
Isn't that right, Microsoft?
You make a good argument there.
Man, I love the Halo franchise like it's my second child, but I absolutely fucking despise that it has to be published by Microsoft.
Yeah. Do you think if like Halo was let's say like put the hypothetical for it that when Bungie left Microsoft that they were able to keep Halo. Do you think they would have made like 15 more Halo games or something like that at this point?
No, the whole reason they left Microsoft is because they didn't want to make Halo anymore.
Well, let's say that they did want to make it. Like they were able to keep Halo and then left Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hypothetical of everything that did not happen.
No, I'm gonna be real. I think there would be less Halo games, not more.
Yeah, you think they would have turned? You think like basically Destiny wouldn't have happened? And they would have had like a.
I think they would have tried to make
Halo like MMO.
I think they would have gone that route. I think like max we would have gotten like maybe 2 new Halo games, kind of basically what they were doing at Destiny. I definitely don't think Halo Wars 2 would exist or any of the spin-offs would exist.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm not sure what the legacy of Halo would even be if it was just a Destiny clone.
That's true. What if Insomniac had it though?
Was making Halo?
Yeah.
I think the franchise would be just well and truly dead then.
It's fair.
I think if like Bungie immediately went to Sony with Halo after Xbox let go of them, I don't think Xbox would be a thing anymore.
Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Legit, I think for as shitty of a game as Halo 5 was, I think that was people's like only reason for buying a Series not a Series X, the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Is people wanted to keep playing the Halo franchise, but then that fucking fell off and they made Game Pass to give people a reason to buy the Series X.
Yeah.
As much as Microsoft wants to keep deprioritizing Halo every year, every showcase, I genuinely, and I mean genuinely, still believe it's the one franchise that's been keeping them afloat for so long.
I mean, I have to believe so. I feel like there's enough old gamers that are still invested into Halo that it would definitely make it still profitable.
I mean, we apparently are getting a new Halo game next year, so the franchise is still going strong, but it's nowhere near what it used to be.
I mean, I still remember when like Infinite came out. Like people were hyped that Infinite was coming out. Like the multiplayer was coming out early or whatever. People were playing it.
Mm-hmm.
People were having fun with it. It's just updates were slow.
Just gotta stick to the landing next time.
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of gotta keep going after that.
I feel like I say that for every new Halo game that comes out.
That's true.
Hey guys, you already have a dedicated community here. If you just, don't completely fuck it up, that'd be super cool.
Do you think if it had launched with like the Forge, it would have stayed in relevance more?
It definitely would have.
Yeah, like if it had launched,
if it had launched with Forge and it had all like those weird fun like maps and game modes and stuff.
Yeah,
that definitely would have at least kept people interested. But
yeah, I think it would have retained a good amount of its player base for a while.
Mm-hmm. Especially if they did what they're doing now, where they take like the community's like favorite maps and just make them actual like regular maps, but in standard rotation.
Yeah,
that's the funny thing. Modern Halo Infinite is actually really, really good, but just nobody wants to play it anymore.
Yeah. It also comes down to is like, and I think we talked about this when we did talk about Halo Infinite like a while back, but it's just like the gaming scene is different than it was back when Halo 2 or 3 or whatever was like the big game.
There's just so much competition now. There's like so many, just even like multiplayer games that are coming out every single year that are fighting for people's attention.
Yep. So you can't just like put out a game and then just not update it and expect it to continue to see success. It's like, no. You got to kind of keep up with it now. It's like,
you've heard of that game Wildgate, right? I think we talked about this once.
I believe so, but God, I cannot remember for the life of me.
So it's a multiplayer game where I think it's like 5 groups of 5. You all have a starship and you're looking for an artifact. Apparently the game is really good. I am scared for that game though, because part of me is just saying like no matter how good the game is, it's probably not going to last more than a few months.
Oh, it's open beta right now. I was like, how are people playing it? I'm like, it says it's July 22nd is the release date. I'm like, oh, an open beta. That's how. Yeah, I've never heard of this, honestly.
I've watched a few videos on it, and it's has a lot of eyes on it because it's former Blizzard devs, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. I always forget about that. Yeah, it's just like no matter how good the game is, it's like if there's just not a lot of people that are looking at it, it's like, will it survive? And the answer will probably be no.
There's just so much other stuff out there now. Even like fucking a Battlefront 2 is now competing for players again, as weird as that sounds.
Unfortunately that is the weird part.
Kind of going back to... I'll let you...
I wasn't going to say anything, so just go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say something that Borderlands 4 really has going for it is I think it's coming out in the perfect time, because especially now, like, a lot of co-op games have been coming out, and they've been getting, like, really, really popular. and Borderlands has always kind of been like the, co-op shooter.
Yeah, and they're doing like the thing where it's like they're really drumming up hype, not through so much like, well, because they have. I mean, they also have just a huge dedicated fan base or whatever. It's like, but it's like they're sending out all these like, YouTubers and streamers and everything like that to come play early versions of the game for a couple hours just to get first impressions. Then they're making videos about it, type thing. They're showing off all like the skill trees and everything like that to like get people like, oh yeah, it's like this is like the Vault Hunter I want to play type thing. And so much so, and despite the game not releasing for another 2 months,
it gets people interested, and it's supposed to do these kind of things.
It keeps people
anyway.
interested, and I think that's the good part about it.
It also gives you a little bit more time to collect feedback and stuff like that.
Yeah, to change up things, and that's partially why I think that they brought out like the streamers and stuff like that so early on, because I think that they did have some, like they were talking. There's like one big streamer that my brother always watches or whatever, but he does like all like those grindy type games. It's like Moxley or whatever his name is. I think that's what his name is. But yeah, he was like showing off like, oh, here's the skill trees for the other two or whatever, and here's my my thoughts on Borderlands 4 for the time being or whatever. And it's like, for how many games that guy plays of the similar types, basically, it's like, I think he knows what's generally what is likable about these games and what kind of like needs to change, so on and so forth. I know when he was talking about the Rafa skill tree, because each of the Vault Hunters have 3 different action skills that all play differently from one another. And there's one where you basically pull out like a heavy cannon basically in your offhand and you can just fire it. And while he said like, I didn't play a ton with this thing or whatever, it was like, it was there and I didn't really like it. So maybe they'll, mess with it or whatever type thing. Or maybe I just didn't get far enough in the skill tree to understand how it's really that great. So I was just like, okay, maybe they'll take that into some consideration and change up some things here and there.
The biggest criticism that I've seen people talking about in terms of the next Borderlands is, I think I watched the G-Man Lives video on it, where he was talking about, like, at the end of the day, it is just more Borderlands, but it's like, and that's a problem. Why? It's like you said earlier, if it's works fine, like, why? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Do not know why I could not think of that. Sorry.
It's one of those things that, while you're not wrong, it's like there are a lot of people that really dislike Borderlands 3, and I'll be honest, the starting product for Borderlands 3 was not great. It had a lot of problems, a lot of just things that were kind of fucked about it. But over time, DLCs and everything like that really helped it. Quality of life updates helped that as well. And it's now my Borderlands game of choice. Borderlands 2 is fun. The story is great. The characters are likable. The Vault Hunters are interesting. But the gameplay is dated. It feels like an old game, and it's just dated. But there are a lot of people that love Borderlands 2 and despise Borderlands 3 for everything it is. And I'm like, that's just, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, the game is what it is. I'm sorry that it doesn't live up to the hype. There was people who I've seen talk about how it's like, oh, they don't want legendary drops every time you face a boss type thing. Like, they want grinding for guns and stuff like that to feel worth it, like legendaries feel powerful. And it's like, while I agree with you to some extent, I also don't want to kill a boss 40 times in the hopes of getting the one thing I want. It's like, I played Borderlands 2 years after it came out because I was just like, I just didn't really get into the Borderlands series. And by that point, they had upped the drop rate of legendaries at that point, just because they wanted people to who were picking up the game first time to enjoy the game and be able to get these guns during get these legendaries during their playthroughs and stuff like that. So, and also if they were grinding it out to easily get get the guns and stuff like that. So they were just like, all right, let's up it. But but my brother was like, yeah, when he first played Borderlands 2, when it basically just came out, it was like the drop rates were horrendous. They were so low. It was like you'd be sitting on boss grinding for 3 hours and on the hopes you get the thing you want, and sometimes you wouldn't even get it. And it's like, that just doesn't sound fun.
It's not at all.
It's like maybe back then, when you were a kid and you had all this time to just waste on this or whatever, and you'd sit into, PlayStation game chat or whatever type thing, or whatever, you could. But it's like, man, I don't have that time anymore. I'd rather have just on the off chance when, every 1 in 2 or 3 times that I would get what I'm looking for. Despite what I'm doing right now, where I'm not getting anything of what I want. I'm literally looking for this rocket launcher, and I've got it to drop twice on this 15th time I've killed him. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, that's how I'd like to do it. And it's like, and they added so much variation in the legendaries in themselves. Like, could you imagine grinding for 3 hours on a boss, getting one of the legendaries you're hoping for, and it just being a bad roll, and everything you want of it is just utter garbage, and you're just like, well, this is useless. And it's like, well, back to being 3 hours into this.
You asked me on grinding a boss for 3 hours. I just would not have the patience for that.
No, I wouldn't have the patience either. And I was like, yeah.
I think a lot of these game publishers nowadays realize, adults with so many other things that are competing for our time, we don't want to spend X amount of hours just playing the same boss over and over and over. No matter how fun that boss is, a lot of people aren't going to fuck with that. Well, so the drop rates need to be a little better.
And the thing is, as well, and going in and just kind of adding on to your point that you just made, which I absolutely agree with, it's as well as the kids, the kids that we all grew up as when Borderlands 2 came out, it's like we had gratuitous amounts of hours to spend on this, basically. It's like, and those kids that played that back in the day are now grown up, and stuff like that. We have, jobs we have to go to. They're, kids or, significant others, anything, friends, just having a social life in general.
I mean, even when it comes down to, I want to play a video game that isn't this one.
Yeah, and then there's just so many other video games to play. It's like, and because you're an adult, you actually have money to, purchase games that you do want. So it's like, yeah, you don't. It's just different. Yeah, for some people, for the people who I guess who do and could have the time to do it, sure.
Go for it.
You go right ahead. I hope for you they add a game mode like that. We'll call it Borderlands 2 Classic mode, basically, where the drop rates are horrendous and it's dumb. And it's like, if you want that, sure, you can go right a fucking head, bro. I'm gonna sit over here with my 15 legendaries that just dropped in an hour, and I'm I'm pretty happy about that, honestly.
Add a fucking masochist mode. Have people be like, oh man, they dumbed down Borderlands for the normies. Just
for the normies. Yeah.
Fuck off, bro.
Yeah, fuck off, man. I'm just not necessary at this point. So it's just like, yeah, I'm good, It's like, again, for some people they might want that. For others, not so much. Oh my god, I actually got the rocket launcher I wanted. Holy crap. And it's in the element that I want. I'm looking for a cryo plague bringer, and I got it. Not bad. So, I don't know. For ultimately, it's like, yes, I think that the publishers are realizing that, a lot of adults, kids will play this, but a lot of adults will also want to play it, and they're just like, when you have like maybe a couple hours of night you can game or whatever, it's like we don't want you to waste it doing like random BS you don't really care about. I also feel like people just hated the story of Borderlands 3.
It was mostly the story, and from what I hear, a lot of people didn't like the cringe dialogue, which is, fair enough, honestly.
It's...
I get it. It's not going to ruin it shouldn't ruin the game for anybody, but I can see...
Look, I'm not going to deny that some of it's just like, man, that was just really a fucking annoying and cringeworthy or whatever. I'm not going to deny that, like, I definitely cringed at certain parts in the story.
That shouldn't stop you from playing an entire video game.
If anything, it's just a fun meme or whatever that you can, like, say to your friends or whatever, and I'm just like, oh...
It's the fucking Forspoken argument that people are using.
Oh my god, I cannot and will not ever understand that argument.
This game has MCU humor, therefore it is bad.
Right. It's like, I keep hearing the same lines over and over and over again. It's not fun. And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want? What, seriously, what the fuck do you want? Who hurt you? I'm sorry, who hurt you? Did you just say one cringe line? You're like, your friends were just like, oh, what a fucking nerd over here. And then they basically just scarred you for life. Is that what happened?
I have to imagine so.
Yeah. I don't know. It was definitely an interesting choice in Borderlands 3 to kill Maya off. I feel like that was an interesting move that I was like, huh. Alright. And I guess in theory kill Lilith, although apparently she's not dead. She just got teleported with the fucking moon. And that's like the whole... feels like the whole plot point of Borderlands 4 is like, oh, they're looking for Lilith, and then they, come upon this Iridian, basically, that's like trying to take over the world.
It doesn't take place on Pandora. It takes place on this whole new planet.
Yep.
With this whole new substance that people are going nuts over.
Yep. Ooh. Sorry, I was like, it's just like when you see a gun from Borderlands 2 or whatever, and you're like, ooh, conference call. That used to be good in Borderlands 2, and now it's not so great in Borderlands 3.
So do you think do you think that since so many people complained about dialogue in Borderlands 3 that they're going to change it for Borderlands 4?
No, are you fucking kidding me? No. If anything, they'll lean into it, and I think it'll be great. It's like, I don't know. They were not. It seems like they don't want to make just stupid memes or whatever type thing. Mm-hmm. That's generally what it feels like. Is that they're not just gonna go oh, skippity toilet type thing. But
one of the characters just be like, "Hey, tone down on the cringe humor, Jack. Otherwise, Asmongold might make fun of you."
Yeah, I don't think they'll care about that. In all honesty.
Okay.
At least I hope not. I don't know. I can get past the dialogue as long as the game is interesting or whatever. It's like you play the story once and it's like, I'm good from there. All right. Well, you have anything else you want to talk about, or I mean, we are at an hour. I don't really got much else past that.
I could complain about the new Dead by Daylight event, but I feel like it'd be beating a dead horse.
If you want to, go ahead.
Surprise, surprise! It's dog shit. They said before the anniversary they're gonna put absolutely no effort into it, and everybody still is acting surprised that it sucks complete ass.
Do you think I recently read a report from Final Fantasy 14 that the developer feels, or the director feels like, oh, we've gotten too complacent with certain things or whatever, and so they're endeavoring themselves to feel better. It's that's the mentality that Dead by Daylight should be having right now.
That game is fucking starved for quality of life improvements. There's a bunch of stuff this last update fucked up, and they're not fixing it quickly enough. Plus with all the new players that are in now, a lot of them are just getting absolutely obliterated, half of them. And the other half are just some of the most toxic, annoying people on the planet.
Ah, you gotta love that.
Yeah, it does not help that they're about to bring 2v8 back. That is going to make every problem exponentially
your
worse.
favorite mode of all time, right?
If I swear to God, they said they weren't going to do a whole lot the last time they brought 2v8 back. If they fuck up this next 2v8, I'm going to be so pissed. I'm going to be so not quiet about that. I swear to God. Right now, it feels. Like I said, it feels like beating an already dead horse complaining about Dead by Daylight, because that game is just such an abysmal state. It feels like it's already everything that I had to say I've already said. It's not worth talking about.
Fair enough.
I think the new updates, obviously to games like Overwatch 2 have been great. They've been doing an amazing job with Stadium. I think they just unveiled the new trailer for Marvel Rivals Season 3, where they're adding Dark Phoenix, Blade, and I cannot remember the villain's name, but I think he's a Venom villain or something. Who gives a shit, but...
Yeah, sounds neat.
All that sounds really good. The only live service game that I'm playing that I actively despise is Dead by Daylight. Every time I turn that game on, I immediately regret it afterwards.
Every fucking time!
That fucking game gives me anxiety. I hate it so much. Other news, Hollow Knight has been going great. I love that game. I'm dog shit at it, but I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
I just ran into my first instance where I died before getting back to my little soul thing, and I lost over 1,000 in whatever the fucking currency is called.
Oh damn. Yeah, I always just called it souls, I think.
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of what it is. But,
apparently there's a bank that's going to unlock later in the game, and I'm just too ready for that to be a thing.
Oh yeah, the bank lady, yeah. When you find her, you can store your souls there if you want to.
Aside from that, it's been relatively a slow news week.
Yeah.
So, you are grinding out Borderlands 3.
Indeed.
I think you mentioned this before, but have you started Rebirth yet?
I mean, I've started it. I just haven't played it since again.
And true.
It's just one of those things where it's just every time I start playing it, it loses my interest almost immediately. I cannot.
Well, that's not good.
I don't know what it is.
Is it just because you know the story already, or?
No, I don't know the story. That's the thing. I don't know what happens in the game. Not necessarily, at least.
Oh.
So it's just I just don't know what it is. I think it's just I
think you just need to be in the right mindset for it, or?
I don't know. I think in the end it's I'm just gonna have to I think the best way to describe it is like I just need to spoil the game for myself. Which is, as weird as that is to say, I think it's 100% true. It's like I just need to like just what really cool part do I want to get to, and then that might motivate me to play the game. Basically, like I've talked about like wanting to just want to watch the like the cutscenes, basically. And it's just like going from there, and it's like I honestly kind of want to just do that.
Okay.
Just because, like, every time I don't know. To me, it's like, recently I feel like just, like, and maybe this is just, like, past couple of years type of thing or whatever. It's like, I just have, I almost feel like a fake gamer at some points where it's like, I haven't felt the desire to play games in general in the past, like, over a year.
I mean, that's completely fine. It's just wavering or like different interests.
Yeah, it's like I mean I played Ever Crisis, and I think that was my number one thing. Is just like it felt like my arc kind of with like 7 kind of happened when not Ever Crisis, Crisis Core Reunion came out. It was like I wanted to play 7 in the hopes that they would make a remake of Reunion, basically, of Crisis Core. And then they did. And I played it, and I loved it. It was great. And then after that, I kind of just, like, felt like the whole... Like, my whole journey was kind of just done. Like, I was just like, oh, that was great. It was everything I wanted it to be type thing. And then, despite, obviously, spoilers, I guess, for the remake, if you don't know them already, it's like Zack lives at the end of that game, and so it's just like, oh, then the whole repercussions of everything that happened there, and I'm just like, I partially just like, I don't want to get fully invested in a character that I think has a still 40% chance that he's going to just die again. Like, I don't want to get fully invested to Zack only to have my heart crushed again at the end of the 3rd game when Zack sacrifices himself again to save Cloud and Aerith. And that will just kill me in the end. I'm just like, I trust nothing.
At the same time, I don't like the idea that just because you don't vibe with a certain game or like a certain genre anymore, like it makes you a fake gamer. Yeah, like,
well, I say fake gamer, but that's not necessarily what I feel like. I just feel like okay. My interest as a gamer has gone drastically down in the past year. That's really what I was trying to say with that. I put fake gamer, and that's not necessarily what I mean by that. It's like I just haven't felt the desire to actually play games more than just like roguelikes or. Like I've been playing MLB The Show 25 a lot recently because I've been having fun with the Road to the Show or whatever, where you basically you make a character and you basically work your way up from the minors to the majors and then try and make yourself a Hall of Fame player. So I've been having fun with that.
I haven't got the new one. The last couple of MLB The Show games that I've played, because they've been on Game Pass. I'm sorry, I am a cheapskate. I've always really enjoyed those.
Yeah, they're fun.
I've also been playing a lot of NHL, weirdly enough. I've never watched the NHL ever.
I've never played any of those games.
I've never watched the NHL ever before in my life, but I've been having quite a bit of fun with the new game. In between sessions of, obviously Hollow Knight, and when I hate myself enough to want to play Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's completely fine, though. You're not any more or less a gamer, which is a cringe term anyway.
I know.
Than anyone else.
I know. I just man, I just have not felt the need or desire to play games or whatever. It's like, oftentimes I'm like, I like messing around with like Magic the Gathering, so I'll like make deck lists. I've made so many deck lists in the past thing from the Final Fantasy set, even though most of them the commanders aren't actually Final Fantasy characters. They're something else, and I just threw, the cards in them.
Dude, we need to. We were supposed to do this yesterday. We need to play more Magic again.
We do, but it can be a little difficult.
I know. Ever since Bloomborough came out, I've had a completely revised new Squirrel deck, and I've just been itching to use it ever since. Oh yeah, I got all the new Squirrel cards. It's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Don't worry, I kept some of the mainstays like Chitter Spitter, the Earl of Squirrel.
What's the? I know it's an unset, but we allow you to rule 0 it in or whatever. What's that card or whatever? Where it's like Form of Squirrel or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Form of Squirrel. It's a 1-mana, turn into a squirrel. You can't die, but if this squirrel leaves the battlefield,
you summon a 1/1 squirrel token, and then if that squirrel dies, you lose the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
every time I hit even the slightest inconvenience, I still remember that one time where I started the game. It's like first turn, Greenland tap Form of Squirrel, and then I just lost immediately.
Was
really that game against you or Brendan?
I don't remember. It was funny. I don't remember
either. Yeah. I've gotten the infinite combo in that deck to go off like twice, and I've felt like a god every single time I've managed to get that to pop off.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad. I feel like my last few decks I've made, they're all like they have 2-card infinite combos, and I'm like,
when they work though, when you get to them, it fucking rules.
I know. I don't always like winning like that though, but it's like, yeah, sometimes it just needs to happen. Look, when you're an hour 15 in the game, everyone's just like, "Oh, let it end," but nobody wants to lose, basically. So they're just like, "Guys, we could have let it end, but you just had it to Fairy's protection." Like that type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm gonna make the executive decision. I'm ending the game here. I've had that happen on more than one occasions, and sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just like, all right, I'm ending this game because we're all tired and want to go home. But nobody wants to lose.
There are also just games where they just last forever because nobody can really do anything about anything.
Yeah, there's that.
Dude, the worst game of Magic I think I've ever played, and I think everyone on our group can attest to this, is that one time that Billy got to play with Urza. I think it's really funny. He played with that deck, I think, only once, and then immediately dismantled it because everybody just absolutely despised playing against it.
That Urza deck. He basically made a CEDH deck. That's the thing.
No, he did 100%. It was like turbo slowdown.
Yeah, it was
so frustrating.
It was the classic Urza High Lord Artificer, just like get the is Winter Orb? Yeah, Winter Orb sounds right. And just stale everyone's just like, all right, we now turn this into arch enemy, basically. Although basically once you see Urza on the battlefield or whatever, or even in the command zone, you're like, all right, this is arch enemy.
No, that one was so bad. I think that one game lasted like 4 hours. It was disgusting.
Yeah, I think Billy after that is like, yeah, I mean, that was like cool to do once, and I don't think I ever want to do it again. And I'm like, thank you. He told me that afterwards. He was just like, I mean, it was cool to do once, but after that, it's like, yeah, that was just kind of miserable. So we're never doing that again.
Then a few weeks later, you talk about wanting to make a land destruction deck.
I mean, something had to happen, man. It's like, come on, something had to happen. You can't tell me you were just okay with like that kind of shit. I was not. I was like, come on.
No, nobody was. I think after that. I think that's one of the reasons Billy realized, like, oh shit, I fucked up, because after that, I think one of us started looking into like CEDH decks.
Well, I think I was like, I looked at making a land destruction deck, and I think you were looking at a stacks deck with either Ascend Triplets or like Grand Augustine the Fourth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was just like, oh, I don't want this, our group to become that.
effectively what happened when we got like really in depth with Yu-Gi-Oh.
God, yeah, no, that is what happened.
I'm glad we avoided that.
Yeah. It's like, man, if we'd ever play Yu-Gi-Oh again, I would petition Evan to go like, let's just go GOAT format.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, let's go old school Yu-Gi-Oh. That's what we all want anyway.
More than okay with that. More than okay with that.
Yeah.
I still have Karibos all set up and ready to go. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man. We didn't even talk about how Sonic the Hedgehog is getting its own secret lair.
I mean, is anyone surprised at this point?
No, but
Magic the Gathering is...
we need to talk about how the Shadow card is probably the most broken Rakdos card I've ever seen in my entire life.
I looked at it a little. Let me take a look at...
Oh, my God. It's so busted. So I think it's like a 4-mana? I'm ripping off the top of my head because I'm not...
Two black, 2 red. It's a 4/2 with haste. Hedgehog Mercenary.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. Whenever Shadow the Hedgehog or another creature you control with flash or haste dies, draw a card.
Okay. So essentially if it dies or anything else, you just draw a card. It's already pretty good.
Chaos Control. Each spell you cast has split second. If mana from an artifact was spent to cast it, which means as long as it's on the stack, players can't cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities.
Dude, that is so bust. Stop your opponent, like, just from using treasure tokens to cast spells gives them split second, which means that your opponent can't respond to them in Rakdos, which has black. You can just make a bunch of mana and then like, oh, I'm gonna play Tormented Hailfire for like 30. It has split second because I use treasure tokens on it, so you can't counter it or anything like that. So sucks. I guess I just win the game. Like, arguably, it could be like Vivi Ornithir was like probably I haven't seen for sure, but like I'm sure is like going hard in CEDH right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like realistically, Shadow could be another one.
Which is so funny.
Crazy.
That is so freaking funny.
Yeah.
Amy Rose's ability seems pretty...
Oh, I haven't looked at
useful.
any of the other cards other than Shadow. I just saw Shadow and I'm just like, well, that's fucking busted.
So hers is red-white and it's equipment based, right? So it's a haste whenever Amy Rose attacks. Attach up to one target equipment to her. Then up to one other target attacking creature gets plus X plus 0 until end of turn, where X is Amy Rose's power.
Oh, that's not bad.
No. What does Supersonic do, I wonder?
Oh boy.
Enchanted creature has base power and toughness 9/9 and has flying, first strike, trample, and haste. Whenever an enchanted creature deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent.
Oh, okay. I was like, that doesn't seem very super. I mean, yeah, base 9/9 is pretty big, but then it's like, oh, now it also deals damage to every other player, and I'm like, okay, well, there, that's what I was waiting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
For Miles, he can just basically make every vehicle fly.
Hell yeah.
For Sonic, whenever he attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with flash or haste. Whenever a creature you control with flash or haste is dealt damage, create a tapped treasure token.
All right.
See what Eggman does. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Then for each opponent faces a villainous choice.
Villainous choice. What the hell is
that? That player discards a card, or you may put a construct, robot, vehicle card from your hand onto the battlefield.
Oh. vehicle synergy. What colors was Eggman?
Blue, black, red.
Oh. Blue, black, red.
For Knuckles, he has double strike, trample, haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 30 or more artifacts, you win the game.
Oh. Okay. Sure.
I mean, we were talking about this yesterday, how Magic is just basically Fortnite. It's just the Fortnite of card games.
Yeah, and you're either in it and just like having fun playing the cards you want, or you're just like, I'm out.
Who cares?
That's basically I'm alright with either way.
Yeah, that's basically the position that I'm taking up.
Yeah, I was like, I got like Final Fantasy or whatever, so I was already pretty happy about it.
The only thing that I'm a little sad about is I don't think it's ever going to get a One Piece collab.
You don't think there's ever going to be One Piece?
No, because One Piece already has a card game, and it's actually doing quite well.
I'm just saying, though, Final Fantasy has its own too, and they decided to do one. What if they do a Yu-Gi-Oh collab? Like, what do you think? Then at that point they're like, all right, One Piece can definitely happen.
I mean, yeah, we talked about this before, though. That'd be fucking sick if Magic ever did a Yu-Gi-Oh collab.
All right,
like,
how about this?
Peak.
If they never do a One Piece like set, do you think they'll ever do like a secret layer where they just and it's like all pirates basically, and it's just like art cards of cards that already exist, but it's like, oh, here's Monkey D. Luffy, and like everything else.
I could see that.
I could see that happening.
I feel like they would want to make like a full like One Piece set if they had the opportunity, though.
Yeah, that's true.
One Piece is just so big, and
it is.
Dude, One Piece lately has just been going so hard.
Oh, it's so awesome.
The fucking fact that I feel like, I don't know, we could be within a year of the anime coming to an end is absolutely nuts.
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
How many more years do you think One Piece has in it?
Oh, at a minimum, at least 5.
You really think so?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Assuming Oda doesn't like just do a whole bunch of exposition, which in theory could happen. It's like if he wants to drop some plot points, I could see it going sooner. But there's still so much that needs to kind of like happen that I couldn't foresee this happening in. It need to happen in a couple of years. Like we still haven't found Laugh Tale. It's like we still got to have like the big fight between, Blackbeard and everything like that. Like everything that's happening in Elbaf, the final war basically that will that Oda's been setting up for a long time is like not even close to happening. It's like there's just a lot left to do. And it's like, considering that Oda's been trying to keep on this pace of like 3 chapters and then a break, just to keep the creative juices flowing and stuff like that, making sure that he's staying healthy and everything like that. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, you go 3 chapters, so you get like 3 chapters a month. That's pretty good. But, foreseeing like some, setbacks or whatever, like, for any number of reasons, basically. But it's like, yeah, it could be a bit, though. I do like the discussion we were having, though, while we were at Chili's. That was pretty funny. It's just like, oh yeah, we were just discussing the latest chapter of One Piece or whatever in the fucking middle of Chili's.
Yeah, we're talking about like what Luffy's dream really is. Apparently it's to throw the biggest party in the world.
That is honestly,
I don't fucking buy that.
It is interesting. I agree with you. Like it does seem like so Luffy, though, that I could absolutely see that happening. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, is that really what it is, though? Like,
it feels too straightforward.
Because if that truly was it, what stopped Oda from just saying that out loud or whatever type thing? Like, it's got to be something else, right?
100%.
Nah.
You know what I think it also could be? It might just be like, I've effectively achieved my dream already. It's like,
no,
I wanted to be...
I don't think that.
It's possible.
I mean, it's possible, but...
He's technically gotten everything he's ever wanted. He has his own ship. He has his own crew. He's with a bunch of people that he vibes with, going on adventures. I don't know. And Luffy's just the kind of guy where
he wanted to go on a grand adventure, obviously with friends. Like that was like his whole thing. He wanted to do that with obviously Sabo and Ace, but they each wanted to do their own thing, and obviously everyone wanted to be the captain. So it was like the idea that, oh yeah, he was definitely like that could happen. Yeah, I could see that, but at the same time, it's like I think there's something else. It's like I don't think it's going to be anything serious. I think it's going to be something silly, probably, just because that's Luffy. And considering everyone's reaction was just like, oh, that's just so you type thing, but it's like so impractical as well. So I'm like, it could just be something as simple as like everyone is free, basically. Like it legitimately could just be that. Like everyone's free of any world government or free to sail the seas or whatever works together. And I only say that because of like the most recent chapter. I guess spoilers if you haven't read the most recent chapter of One Piece, which I don't even know what chapter that is. I think it's like 1152 or something like that. Something like that. But with like Harold's backstory or whatever, where he specifies that it's just like, it's amazing to me that the world just can't be free and work together. And that's pretty much generally where I'm getting that from.
I 100% could see that being Luffy's dream.
So it's just like everyone kind of gets to be free to do to explore their dream, and everything like that. And then it's just like, or like even something as simple as like everyone has, basic necessities or whatever. Because like whenever it seems like Luffy comes across people that don't have enough to eat or are just struggling to survive, he instantly gravitates toward them. It's like specifically like Wano and Otama or whatever. It's like she was just like, yeah, when he found out that she gave her like that she gave him like the rice that she saved up basically to like have on her birthday, it was just like that physically made Luffy just go like, I can't believe you did that. Yeah. And it's also like, and it's just like when he tells her, it's like, oh yeah, don't set your expectations too low as well. It's just like by the time I leave here, you'll be able to eat whatever you want to eat, basically. I don't know. It could be something as simple as just like everyone gets to, go for their dream, because that's reality. What I feel like, the warrior of liberation would want. I still wonder eventually when someone finally tells Luffy about his goddamn fruit, will he actually believe it or not? The answer is probably no.
No, that's just. It's Luffy.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, but Shanks told me it was the gum fruit. And then Shanks is just there going like, Luffy, this is the Nika fruit. I stole it from Wano a long time ago to prevent the world government from having it. Trust me. And he goes, I don't know.
I am rubber, therefore it is the rubber fruit.
Exactly. He's like, I'm made of rubber. How do you explain that? That's why it's called the gum fruit.
Explain that, smarty pants.
I mean, Sanji's absolutely got to eat Kankasaki, right?
Yeah, 100%. Easily.
Gotta. I think that probably somewhere on Elbaf or whatever, like Robin or Nami or something like that is just going to be like about to die by like Summers or whatever type thing, and then he's just going to like jump in and awaken Kankasaki or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could 100% see that be a thing.
Yeah. Okay. I think we can call it there now. We're about an hour and a half now.
Yeah, after he's like, we don't got much else to do, and then, proceeded to go for like another 20 minutes.
Can't ever not take the opportunity to shit on Dead by Daylight.
Which turned into a bunch of other things. I was like, I guess one other thing I do want to mention real fast is that because the the bans for Magic went through as well, just because we were on the subject of Magic. Mm-hmm. Went through it. They banned a ton of cards for Standard, and I don't know a lot about what's going on in Standard. I just know that it's like it was in a bad spot for MagicCon. They banned, I think, a total of 6 or 7 cards, all in Standard, and everyone's going like, I guess early rotation type thing, even though it's not actually. And then it's just like, so it's like, oh wow, they're just gonna say like, oh yeah, like we're just changing up the meta entirely with this. So good for them. It's needed though, from what it sounds like. When a majority of the players are playing either mono red, aggro, or is it prowess or some variation of that, it's like it's not great. So maybe this will help. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. I do actually have one more comment now before we end stream, I think.
Ciao, let's do it.
So we talked about both One Piece and baseball on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, if they ever wanted to make a One Piece going baseball video game again, I'd be so for it.
Could you imagine like on like the next like Road to the Show or something like that, or like the next MLB The Show, they just have like the One Piece DLC or whatever type thing, like you could play as Luffy working your way up through the majors.
I'd be so down, actually.
Oh, that'd be so fucking cool.
They create like a Baseball Island as a stadium.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's like Luffy and the crew. It's just like, oh man.
The fact that that's a thing makes me so happy.
Exactly. All right. Should we call it there then?
Yeah, we can call it there then. Just kind of wanted to throw that in.
Exactly. All right. Thank y'all so much for watching and or listening to this episode of It Never Ends, where we just had the ramble fest at the very end. It's like, oh yeah, we're at a nice hour type thing. Let's just stop there.
That's the point of the podcast. Dude, the latest Creepcast episode was almost 12 hours long. I don't want to hear
it. We're not Creepcast. So, anyway, thank y'all so much again for watching or listening. So, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a review if you can, if you'd be so kind. And if you're still here with us, God, we love you. affectionately love you. Trust, it's just borderline. Just like this is inappropriate at this point. Anyway, bye bye.
So thank you.